Hello friends and family and followers of Good Food. I'm glad that you have joined us today. Maybe this is your first time to be watching our video. If it is, make sure you go back on either Facebook or YouTube because we have done several other ones since, starting like in October, November. So there's several out there. We've done breakfasts and entrees and salads and desserts and some other miscellaneous things. Well, today we're going to do a dessert. And even though it is non-dairy, has no animal products in it, it's not the healthiest. There are several recipes if you Google it or use your favorite search engine. But I have cut back the sugar significantly, and that kind of helps. And it is chocolate, but for those of you who don't use chocolate, you can very easily use carob powder instead of chocolate. But let's get going. This is called a chocolate pudding cake. Some people know it as pudding on the bottom cake or hot fudge pudding cake, or however you want to call it. So this is a recipe that I kind of grew up with, and when you want just something that's really good, put a little bit of whipping cream or maybe some vanilla ice cream, of which you can buy non-dairy ice cream. But anyway, let's get going. Okay, we're going to start out with our dry ingredients. We have flour. There's about a cup of flour in here. And it called for quite a bit of sugar. I cut back the sugar significantly. And carob powder, like I said, you can use, this is chocolate cocoa, unsweetened. You can use carob powder. I have done that before, and people have said, oh, this isn't chocolate? Nah, it was carob. So anyway, put that in, and some baking powder. I think there's about a teaspoon, couple teaspoons in there. And some salt, about a half a teaspoon of salt. Stir this up. And then the wet ingredients we're going to add to the dry. Unsweetened soy milk. Actually, I think this one is oat milk. So if you want to use unsweetened oat milk, soy milk, almond milk, you could either use the vanilla or plain. It's up to you, depending on the flavors you like. And going to add some oil to it. And some vanilla. Stir it up a little bit. You like the way I stir? Hey, do it the easy way. And add it in. Stir it up, mix it in. Now this is going to be a little bit different than your regular cake. It's not going to be the type you can pour in, so don't make it at home and go, oh, it's not runny. Nope, it's going to be more of a batter. As you can maybe see, it's not a runny cake mix. It's pretty thick, but there's a reason for that. I want to get all the dry ingredients blended in well with the wet. One more stir. Okay. Yes, my fingers are clean. You would hope. Okay, now for the pan. 9 by 19, an 8 by 8 baking dish. Make sure it's either oiled or sprayed because you don't want it to stick. Okay, plop it in. And this you will need to spread it because like I said, it won't pour. So you want to have it in all four corners. And of course, I did not bring a rubber scraper with me, but that's okay. Okay, spread it out. Use my finger again. When I was a kid, my mom used to get upset at me because I'd use my fingers more than I'd use utensils. I was like, but Mommy, fingers were made before forks. That didn't go over so well. Okay, now that this is all nice and flat in there, as you can see, it doesn't really move except because there's a little bit of oil in there. Now we're going to mix the topping. We've got, it's just, the recipe says chopped nuts. You could use walnuts. You could use pecans. I use peanuts because peanut, you know, peanut butter and chocolate. Oh, please. It's one of my favorites. So peanuts, a little bit of brown sugar, chocolate chips, and if you haven't done shopping of looking for chocolate chips, there are several different kinds. They are more expensive than regular chocolate chips, but you can get them without milk. Chocolate chips, a little bit more carob or chocolate powder, whichever way you're making it. Stir it in, mix it well. And then you can either use a spoon to spread it nice and even all the way around. Towards the bottom, I may use my hand. We'll see. And then we're going to take hot water. You want it like really hot. What I normally do, we'll take the water. Yep, this is still hot. Good. And I have a mess. Hold please while I clean up my mess. I will take hot water, put it in the microwave for a couple minutes until it's almost boiling, and pour it on top. I have found in the past if I just pour it on, I get like a hole in the middle. So I use a spoon so that it kind of goes all the way around. So it's evenly distributed on the top. And then this goes into a preheated oven of 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes, probably depending on your oven. I would say set it for 30. Check your oven after this is baked. You may need to run it a few minutes longer. It just kind of depends. But this is going in the oven. I don't know if the cameraman's following me with this. Doesn't really matter. But in we go. For 35 minutes. And of course, I made one to bring with us so we could see the final product, because we don't want this video going for 35 boring minutes. As you see, the water has soaked into it. And when I was making this yesterday afternoon, the time was almost up, and somebody came to my house and it baked just a little longer than it should have. So it should have some pudding on the bottom, and this one does not. Oh, shucks. But anyway, if you don't bake it too long, you will have pudding on the bottom. If you bake it too long, it's just a nice, moist chocolate cake. So anyway, a new recipe for some of you to try out. Like I said, whipped cream on top, and yes, you can get non-dairy whipped cream, or some nice cream. Make some frozen bananas, blend it really well, put it in the freezer, make your own. There's all sorts of ways. If you want to have some good ideas of what you could put on this, send us a message on Facebook or through our church website, and I'll give you some ideas. But anyway, enjoy the dessert. See you next time.